Commemoration the 70th Independence Day of the Republic of South Moluccas. We call it RMS, April 25th, 1950 to 2020. Mena!
Muria!
Mena!
Muria!
Mena!
Muria!
Today, I myself, Alexander Hermanus Manuputi, declare to the world related to the day of independence of our republic, the RMS state, that will take place on this Saturday, April 25th, 2020, that we, the South Moluccas people, feel joyful, for we still matter until now by the grace and mercy of God Almighty. I represented my peoples, the South Moluccas, to bring forward the speech witnessed by God Almighty, I trust, throughout the days of my life. Indonesia, the barbaric colonizer, still there, whilst me delivering my speech in here at Los Angeles, California, United States of America, in connection with our faithful day. We were in the decolonization by the world, in parentheses, Portuguese, British, Dutch, and Japan, during 437 years old since 1513 to 1950, and continued by Indonesia from 1950 up to now, in parentheses 70 years. We have fulfilled the ages of Israeli in Egypt and in Babylonia, and really have fulfilled the terms of God in ending an occupation, like God says to Abraham and Jeremiah the prophet, according to each time. We called on to the nations in United Nations Board, please realize, according to what God says to Abraham and Jeremiah the prophet, involving the evilness occupation over the legitimate territory of RMS state, namely, settle it now. Please end this savage colonization as soon as possible, in approaching or exactly at the date and or soon after April 25th, 2020. We name our board the Moluccas Sovereignty Front. We call it FKM, as to resistance against Indonesia colonizer since December 18, 2000, as an extension of struggling doing by our predecessor, the second president of RMS state, Mr. Dr. Christian Rudolf Stephen Somokil, after his passing away at April 12, 1963. We moved little by little since December 18, 2000, thus far, by merely morally and what we face as consequences of brutalities Indonesians' action unto us is badly inhuman treatment, which is never doing by one nation towards its political prisoners. We face torture crosses the line, degrading and cruel treatments, and many more that very shame to mention it. Hundreds in jail, tens pass away, in and out the penitentiary, some of them still there hitherto. Indonesia always boasted itself as fixed price, but could never prove, as they said. When the solely fixed price, their rhetoric is the physically ferocity military aggression. For this celebration, I earnestly take a responsibility for raising the King Threat or Benang Raja flag this year at April 25, 2020, implemented by my peoples, the South Moluccas. We call it to Alif Uru and West Melanesian. This activity is in connecting with commemorating the 70th anniversary of Independence Day of the Republic of South Moluccas, proclaimed at April 25, 1950, de facto de jure and legitimated according to bunches of international provisions. Decision of South Moluccas Council, March 11, 1947, and its true history. The number of 70 is belong to God Almighty, and meaning that the government of Indonesia must end as immediately as possible its colonization over an existing state, the RMS, before the due date aforesaid, as well as those stated in Tonga Communique in January 18 to 24, 2003, and Vanuatu Communique in April 24, 2019. The ruthlessness of Indonesian government through its army and police activities has achieved its peak in the frame of RMS State Independence Day this year with the signs. First, it has proven that 12 FKM activists experienced cruel intimidation at April 21st, 2020 by Indonesian police and army, so they stated by force back to NKRI finally. Second, instruction under coercion by criminal act towards the South Moluccas people to hoist Indonesian flag in front of each home in line with Independence Day of the RMS state at April 25, 2020 is literally against the human rights approach that attach strong in each person in South Moluccas, and it is designating that Indonesia is facing a loser. Third, allegedly, there have been preparing a deadly injection by army and police toward the peoples in the mass treatment in Aboru village and might be more. So they could face that in a certain time after that. I badly need real work and seriously attention from United Nations Board of Humanity, of the Decolonization Department, of the relevant department and its peacekeeping forces, and some international party that involved with our true story. We also need awfully attention and intervention from Amnesty International, headquarters overseas and domestic. I fervently hope Mr. President Insinyur Joko Widodo, as a civilized president, go to meet me through Consulate General of Indonesia in Los Angeles to make something value for both unitary state of Indonesia or NKRI and legally state the RMS. Wise word says, engineer annexed 70 years ago, another engineer released today. In accordance with the fulfillment of God Almighty's number for the South Moluccas peoples and its an existing state, the RMS, and what is happening now, so we the South Moluccas peoples call upon. First, Indonesia must guide and create the calm and peace condition and situation during raising the Benang Raja flag in the matter of the topic mentioned above. Second, the presence of Indonesians war equipment and maybe go to be thousands of Indonesians army in South Moluccas territories is merely for guidance and security acts and not a law at all, as to torture, arrest, and or display degrading treatment unto the South Moluccas peoples. Third, Indonesia must go out right away with its policies from the valid territory of RMS state after this celebration. Fourth, United Nations must disperse the unitary state of Indonesia in a short time for its existence based on physically ferocity, military aggressions, and turn it back to the worst, namely United States of Indonesia. Fifth, United Nations come down to Moluccas, to South Moluccas, to implement the transfer of sovereignty of RMS state from the colonizer Indonesia to the hand of South Moluccas people they deserve. Similarly, with the transfer of sovereignty from Dutch to United States of Indonesia in 1949. Sixth, President of Indonesia, Secretary General of United Nations, or personage of any board related to it, supposed to facilitating me straightly come back to South Moluccas with reference to point 5th aforesaid and the issue at hand, so that my responsibility in this case go to be come true. Thanks in advance. God Almighty blesses this Benang Raja celebration. Salam wassalam. Los Angeles, California, United States of America, April 23, Thursday, 2020. FKM RMS, Executive Council of Moluccas. My best regards. Alexander Hermanus Manuputi, Executive Administrator. Mena!
Muria!
Mena!
Muria!
Mena!
Muria!